Welcome everyone to episode 173 of the JSB GamesCast. I am your host Rob, aka Zen. Joining me today, my favorite people in the world, controlling this ship, making sure we don't crash into anything. Ryan, how are you?
May hit a few bumps and things here and there, but we're doing all right. Doing good.
A little bit of turbulence.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not too bad.
I understand.
But doing okay. It was literally a sleep catch-up day for me. But we're here. You're getting things ready. Just doing things. At least trying to.
I love that.
Anyway,
I love that. Let's all try to do things.
Yes.
That is my goal for the upcoming week. Try to do things.
Yes.
Because this weekend for me, I didn't get anything I wanted to do done.
It's unfortunate.
It has been like the most least productive. Like I want to say like the past maybe like 2-3 weeks for me, where I just keep putting everything off, and I'm like, God, I just need to stop doing stuff and do things. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It do.
That wonderful voice that you just heard is Drewstifer. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. Oh, it's another day in the life of Drew, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. My life's not exactly exciting. I got to play some video games, and that was cool.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I didn't do much this week. And then, yesterday, I played a ton of video games. And then I just kind of existed.
Interesting.
For today. I don't know. It's weird. I still need to get that deep dive episode out to you guys. Still working on that. It's been hard to be productive this week. I don't know. It's that time of the year, I guess. I can't believe it's almost May. I mean, I want these video game releases to come out, but also I don't want my life to fast forward and slip away. So I might be having an existential crisis.
Is there anything big that's in May? My calendar's all messed up.
Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh, okay. That's the one.
I mean,
that's the big one.
I'm personally looking forward to the HoloLive Idol Showdown fighting game that's going to be coming out next week.
Is that next week? They announced the date?
They did, May 5th. Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yep, and they revealed the final character as well, which is Kiryu Coco.
Coco?
Yep. Which was okay. I'm cool with that. I
can't believe they did that. There's a lot of lore behind Kiryu Coco.
Yes.
And I am a big fan of Kason, and there is a connection there.
There is, yep.
So I saw that, and I immediately sent that to Jose, who is a fellow Coco Kason appreciator, and that just kind of blew my mind. I was like, these fuckers, I can't believe they did that.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm playing Coco and Corone.
Hey, remember, free to play. This game is free to play, and
I'm excited
roll
to
back
check that game out.
I'm gonna check it out too. Yeah. I think the pixel art's kind of adorable too, so I definitely want to check it out.
It's good. Yeah, there's some jankiness with a few of the characters that I'm like, okay,
sure.
Kind of missing some frames here, but overall, the overall look and the production around it is actually very good for a little free side project.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm kind of listen, this is a free thing. They'll obviously clean it up a little bit later and things like that.
I'm sure.
But I'm definitely going to be playing it, and I think my characters I want to play is going to be Fubuki and Botan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think those are the two I'm going to play.
I don't know. I live through VTubers through just random clips. I think the one I resonate the most with is Corone, because she's just a fucking gremlin. So I'm probably going to play Corone.
I mean,
you do be grumbling.
Yeah, she does indeed. But yeah, they announced that today being May 5th when that releases.
Cool.
So those are probably here's the full May list, just in case anything speaks out. None of these really speak out to me besides Zelda. We have Age of Wonders 4, Redfall, Super Dungeon Maker.
I do want to check out Redfall. I've been hearing some pretty interesting things about that.
Ravenlock, Death or Treat, Darkest Dungeon 2. I guess that's a big release.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Ease 9, Nostrum Nox, the PS5 version is coming out May 9th. Lord of the Rings, Hero of Middle Earth,
Jedi,
Tears of the
right?
Kingdom. What's up?
Does Jedi Fallen Survivor, Last Survivor?
Oh,
Jedi
yes,
Fallen?
because originally it was supposed to come out this month.
Yep.
Or last month.
So it got pushed back a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big release. I still need to play the first one.
Great game.
Let's see. Humanity, Firmament, Lego 2K Drive, Inkbound, After Us, Amnesia: The Bunker, Bread and Fred, Farming Simulator 23.
Oh, hell yeah.
Miasma Chronicles.
Game of the year.
Bro,
Hello,
Farming Simulator
Rescue.
like legit sells millions of fucking copies, and it's insane to me.
Lord of the Rings Gollum is finally coming out at the end of the May month.
True.
Company of the Heroes 3 and System Shock.
Oh, System Shock's the big one.
Is that a remake?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, didn't that game come out like 30 years ago?
Yeah, they announced the remake some time ago. It's been in development for like quite a while.
Have they shown anything about it?
It's been getting like steady updates, but it just hasn't like officially released. So that's very cool that they're finally like about to drop it. That's dope.
Yeah.
I think June's going to be a much bigger month though. June, you have Street Fighter 6, you have Diablo 4, you have Final Fantasy 16.
Those three.
You have Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. There's just so many big titles just coming out in June.
I mean, you probably could have just stopped at Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, and Final Fantasy 16.
That's it. Like that's the three.
That's really it.
That's the fucking three, and everything else is
the things that are in their shadows because you don't want them to get missed.
Very big shadows.
Yeah, like it's true. Like it's great to point out the smaller things. I am right there with you, but like let's be real, what that month fucking is for like the industry
for
as a whole.
95%
anybody
of
that
the industry
is releasing their game in June, I am so fucking sorry.
Yeah.
Like I am so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. But that's cool. We have exciting months coming up. That's dope. It's still, I guess we gotta wait for like I was gonna say E3, but that's not a thing. Haha.
Definitely not.
No, we got to find out what Konami's up to.
It's true. They're just gonna show up at the convention center by themselves, just like where'd everybody go?
Ain't nobody gonna be here.
They're gonna have like 6 different versions of Silent Hill with them, and they're just like, what do we do?
It's gonna be the Fresh Prince gift. Where the video games? Where the games? Where the video games at?
But I guess we wait for Summer Games Fest and all of the stuff around that before we get a good look at what the fall is going to be, because I think that's still kind of a question mark for everybody. Mm-hmm. Outside of like Spider-Man 2 for Sony, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious what the holiday lineup is going to be, considering our mid-year is such an insane time, you know?
I want to say, didn't they? When we were talking about Metrovanias and stuff like that before the show started, didn't they just announce a release date for Blasphemous 2?
Yes. They showed it. Was there a release date attached to it? I think there was.
I think so.
I thought there was, but I wasn't sure.
I think there was. I'm just saying 2023. Just 2023. So not sure when.
Okay, so yeah,
but
it's 2023. But they did
very
release
excited.
another trailer. I got to go back and finish that game.
Oh man.
Please. I get lost in that game and in those games, and I'm just like, I don't know where to go, and then I'm just like, I don't like being lost.
It's pretty easy to get lost in that one too, and it doesn't do a particularly good job of being like, hey, this is where you left off and this is where you should go. It's you kind of have to like wander about till you trigger something.
But I really like the game a lot. It's definitely a favorite.
It's one of my favorite games that came out whatever year it released, 2021 I think. 2019.
And that studio was releasing another game that looked pretty cool too, but I can't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Oh, I hear police.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit! What Drew do?
Yeah, no, I live on a main road, so.
Fair.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that was a pretty good discussion on what's coming up. But let's talk about the now. Let's talk about what people have been doing. Ryan.
Yeah. Hi.
What you been up to, friend?
So I've been playing this game called Eternal Return.
Oh yeah, what's that about? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I've been back in that game. It's funny. It's kind of bringing that back. Yeah, you know
I've been wanting to put time into it and just. Maybe after this podcast.
Man,
I'm gonna try to play that game.
Man, listen. I have been finding myself getting back into this game more and more again because like the quality of life changes and everything that it has been in that game has been so good, and it's just like, you know, all the just neat stuff they've added to it and everything like that. And I feel like there's like now multiple ways to play. Like you can either try to survive and be the last one, or you can just get the fuck out. Either or.
Right.
How does that affect team matches?
I don't know because I play by myself and I don't like teams. So
understandable.
I'm like, listen, if I fuck up, I have myself to blame. I don't want that aspect with the team. So
yeah, every time I play Pokemon Unite, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
So
that was the biggest draw for Eternal Return for me. Like initially, was the fact that like, hey, I don't particularly like hate this genre of game, right? Yeah. But like the team aspect of like MOBAs and stuff that are like this, like gives me personally like a lot of like team anxiety, and I don't like that. So like having something like this that I could go in solo and play was like a big draw.
Yeah.
It still kind of is, even though I do play duos with Drew from time to time. It's like I could always just boot it up myself and just not have to worry about teammates like in my own time, you know?
Yeah. Although to be honest, like I did enjoy the one time when we were playing trios, and like I think we were like one of the last two teams standing, and we just literally spent the entire time just making a bunch of traps and like setting up a bunch of
yeah, that was
fun. We just had like 900 traps set into where like that was the only spot they can go through to be able to get to this area. So they all had to like disarm all the traps and everything. We just obliterated them. It was funny. It was funny.
Good times.
Yeah, been playing that game a lot. I recently unlocked Tazia, the glass shard character.
Oh, yes.
The glass sword. She's really, really cool. I really like her a lot.
Really?
Yeah, so, like, her gimmick is, like, her Q attack, right? Like, she shoots glass swords and everything, and then when they hit something, they form, like, this glass crystal and everything. And you go and you collect the crystals. And once you collect like 5 crystals, your next Q attack is literally like a Mega Man Buster Shot.
Oh.
And like you'll see this giant glass sword right beside you, and you launch that thing will take off like 70% health. Like
I hate it.
Like it's literally a Mega Man Buster Shot. And then she also has like a little like kind of like dash move, where like as she's collecting the crystals in this dash move, she does like a sword swipe and everything that is like hits anything in a radius. And then she has another one where she puts out like a glass wall that's like a stun that then will materialize into 2 crystals, and then you collect those and everything, and you just basically that's what you do. You just continuously try to charge up your Buster Shot basically by attacking and collecting these crystals, and then you just get one mega shot in that will like obliterate a character's health.
That's a pretty cool gimmick.
Yeah, so like she has a little bit of a degree of difficulty with her.
Yes.
But like she's been a lot of fun, and it's just like it's such a weird like kind of like character for me to play and be like, oh, this is actually fun, because let's be honest, I like playing Nikki and I like punching things, so you know there's that. Estelle's another one I like too, the firefighter girl. I like her
aesthetically. I remember trying her a little bit, and like I didn't vibe too much with her at the time, but I do like her. Like she's a very cool character.
Yeah. So like, it's just been a lot of fun to get back into that game and just be playing it and stuff like that and everything. And it's just like I feel like like when they were trying to introduce like all the changes and stuff like that, it was definitely having that feeling of, hey, we're going to throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and see what works and what doesn't.
Right.
And now I think, considering, how they've kind of melded everything together and kind of fine-tuned things the way, they did and everything, the game is definitely a very enjoyable game to play. Like, I'm definitely having a lot of fun getting back into it and stuff like that. So I've been kind of like this, playing that a lot lately and everything.
How has the queue times been for solos? Have you been getting into games pretty easily? A couple minutes?
Yeah, so I have been getting in games more frequently, and I know they did some changes as well to where, like, they made it to where, like, hey, if we got 15 people in this game, we're not going to wait for 3 more players. So we'll just go ahead and start the game. Stuff like that. So they kind of lowered the amount, because it used to be like, yeah, they're like, because originally it was like, okay, we got to wait for all 18 players to be in this thing before the game launches. Now it's just like, okay, we got 15. Okay, cool. The game will
That's
just
more
launch.
than enough.
Yeah.
And
so
I imagine when you have like a lower count, they probably like speed up the clock or something. I think they used to do that in like
I think so. That's one thing I didn't
just
really
to kind of like push it a little quicker.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't really keep track of, but but I mean, it would make sense. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, so I've definitely been enjoying my time with that game, getting back into it and stuff like that. Another game that I messed around with a little bit was God of Rock.
I need to pick that game up.
I love the concept of the game. I love what they try to do with it and stuff like that. But there is a lot to pay attention to in that game.
It's a learning curve.
It's in like, even going through like the tutorials and stuff like that and everything, there's still like a few things in that game that doesn't necessarily make sense to me. Like the one character I was trying to play was Rosetta, I think her name was. The girl that has the spray cans and stuff like that and everything.
Yes.
And like sometimes like I'll boot up a game and like she starts off with 0 meter, and I don't know why that is. Because like, and I got, admittedly, I got to go back in and like try to delve into it a little more, because I don't remember if they have like character specific tutorials or not in the game. But like in game, when you're doing like an actual match and stuff like that, there's a lot of things you got to pay attention to. And I think honestly as well, like I don't think that game plays particularly well for gamepad. I feel like that's a game you actually have to play arcade stick on. Because like some of the input stuff they have is like square and circle, or like a double input and stuff like that, which for me on a controller, that's kind of hard to do.
Are you not using like the directional pad with it?
No, because does the directional pad work?
It should. It might be something you have to turn on in the settings.
Maybe.
But I believe it does.
Maybe.
Because I feel like you would probably tackle it the same way you do with like a Miku game, right? Where like full circle,
which is what I thought originally, but like I felt like a couple times like I felt like that wasn't working for me. But like you said, maybe it's just something I got to turn on.
Maybe it's a setting.
It is a setting. Okay, well that explains it. Because like I know like with the thumbsticks and stuff like that, that's how you gotta like input your specials and stuff like that and everything.
Right.
So I
have seen people play this on stick too, so maybe that also would work as well. You could probably do either or.
Yeah, I gotta find out. Like I know like I think it was Scrot I saw that was playing this game on arcade stick, which was kind of weird for me. I was like, wait a minute, he's a pad player. Why is he playing this on stick?
Yes, we play fighting games on pad and we play rhythm games on stick.
Exactly. But I love the concept of the game. It's like rhythm game, fighting game, like mix the two together, and it's like I think it's a very unique thing. I just gotta I think I just gotta hop back into it more and try to figure out more. But man, it is a learning curve. There's a lot to pay attention to between like doing the inputs of like the rhythm game aspect, and then making sure you were spinning your meter in spots and stuff, and like it's a lot. It's a lot to pay attention to, and they put in some new characters too as well that wasn't in like the demo and stuff like that. So I think it's like maybe 8 or 10 characters they have in total for it. So I'm definitely going to try it again, but like I know like the first time I tried to play it and stuff like that, and I was just like, whoa, what is going on? There's like and like I know like for me personally, like sometimes when I'm trying to pay attention to multiple different things, it gets really, really hard for me to kind of enjoy because it's just kind of like what's going on.
For sure.
But
it feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it definitely felt that way a little bit for me.
That's how the demo was for me. Like I played a couple of games and I was like, I like what's here. This is a lot, and like I personally just wanted to wait for the full version because I'm like, I know I'm gonna have to spend like, I don't know, probably weeks just like parsing through what this game is, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna take me, like me personally, it's gonna take me a very long time to get used to what this game is asking me to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of going to be the same thing for me, like as I try to figure it out more and stuff like that. So, but there was also another rhythm game I checked out that was kind of like an indie developed game, and it's a rhythm game that's called Loud, is what it's called.
Loud.
Yes. So it's an indie developed game. It's the way it's designed though is very reminiscent to Persona Dancing.
Yep, I was about to say that immediately upon looking at this trailer.
Yep. So
I like the style though. Looks cute.
Yeah, so like there was 2, and there is a DLC expansion that's with it because there's like the one that's called like a Road to Fame, and then there's another one called that's like My Road to Japan.
My Trip to Japan.
Yeah. So like it's it's almost, I think in a sense, I haven't messed with the Japan one yet because I've been doing the Road to Fame one. Which it has like a little story element, you know, you do play as a character that's trying to make it into the music world and things like that. You get to change up her look too as you like unlock things and stuff like that. But if you played Persona Dancing, you'll be very familiar with how this game plays. Because it's that same thing where you have like your 6 icons and the inputs are coming from the outer part of the screen to where you have to do your inputs and stuff. So, and admittedly as well, playing this, I'm like, I want to play Persona Dancing again. Because those.
How's the music in it?
I mean, it's got some alternative. So it's like alternative rock. You know, things like that and everything. And I mean, this game was a pretty recent release too. This game released in February this year.
Yeah.
So
Hyper Strange Studios.
Yep.
Is this their first game? Oh no, they've done a couple different things.
Yeah, but like it's been, like I said, it's a pretty fun game to kind of go through. And like I said, if you played Persona Dancing, you know exactly what you're getting into with it. But the music is it's definitely more alternative rock based, things like that. And it's pretty cheap too. I mean, I think I got the bundle for like $14 or something like that. Or it might be even
currently on sale for $12.
Yeah. So base game itself is $10, but if you get the bundle, which I recommend as well, just pay the extra $3. It's fine. But yeah, I definitely and it's now the Trip to Japan one. There's a lot of J-rock music in that one. So, and I want to say like some of the music is from like some actual J-rock groups and stuff too. So.
Oh yeah, okay. I see that here. Some licensed songs performed by a couple of different groups.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So I would say, if you like rhythm games and you're familiar with Persona Dancing, definitely give it a try. It's and like I said, it's got a little bit of a story element to it where you go through and see how this character becomes what she becomes and things like that. So, and it's got some neat little looks to that character and everything, because like the game when you're playing it, so like you're playing through the music, so like your character's kind of like in the middle of the screen and they're like strumming their guitar, like electric guitar and stuff like that and everything. So
I saw moments where they were just like strumming on like an air guitar, or they had like a broom in their hand, and I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty wholesome.
Yeah. So it's got, it's got a little bit of a story to it and everything. So, but yeah, those are really the only 3 games I really been messing with lately and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, I'm still kind of in countdown mode for Street Fighter 6 in June. And then now mentioned earlier the Hololive Idol fighting game. Yeah, we'll get into that too. So yeah, that's been pretty much it as far as games that I've been playing. So yeah,
Okay,
nothing else outside of that.
sounds great. Love that. Juicever, you have been playing some video games here and or there.
I have. Well, I guess most of the video game I've been playing is I really got to dig deep into Octopath 2.
Yeah.
And I say deep, but I mean, I really only scratched through the first layer. I'm about 20 hours in. About 20 hours in, I've acquired all 8 of the travelers in the
Party
game.
complete.
Yeah, party is, you do get an achievement for that.
Oh, hell yeah.
But you have Oswald the Scholar, you have Casti the Apothecary, you have Tememos. It's a really weird name. The Cleric. You have Ochette the Hunter. You have who's P? Oh, Partitio. Partitio the Merchant. Why am I blanking? I rehearsed this in front of a mirror almost.
Now you're on the spot.
Frick, who was A?
Who is this mysterious A?
Agnia the Dancer.
Mm.
Who's the T I didn't mention? Throne the Thief and Hikari the Warrior. So I think the first thing that I really like about these classes is these classes are really juxtapositioned by these character personalities in ways that I wouldn't expect, especially like based on like the first game.
Right.
For example, let me look at the dancer. So you have Primrose as a dancer in the first game, and you have Agnia as a dancer in the second game. Where Primrose is like, she works in a brothel, she has like a really sad backstory, like pretty much like has the best story in the original Octopath, I feel. And then you have Agnia, who's like the most wholesome character ever, and I love her to death. And like her backstory is like just really like warm, fuzzy feelings, just like really sweet. Like I'm this character just puts a smile on my face, which is like what she wants to do. And I'm like, all right, I'm 100% here for it.
Yeah.
And then you have Oswald, who might be my favorite character. Like Hikari was my protagonist, but like I went and did Oswald's like chapter 1, which was weird because he's actually 2 chapters. Like, so basically when you do the chapter 1s, it dissolves a party and you go through the chapter 1 where you only control that character in order to tell the story, right? As to like why these things happened. For example, like in the first game, in Prim's chapter 1, like her friend dies and she's like, I need somebody to get help. And like, well, if you had party members during that chapter, that wouldn't make any sense, right? Like they dissolve the party, and so it's just that traveler. So like with Oswald's chapter, it's like, hey, you won't be able to resume control of your party until the end of his chapter 2. And I was like, whoa. And his story so far has like the most intriguing so far, because his is a revenge story. It's very similar to Prim's almost. It's definitely a revenge story, but I swear to God, Oswald's just a villain. Like, okay, his backstory, he's not a villain. Like, he is the scholar. I won't go into too much details. Like, he is a good man until he is put on trial for a crime he didn't commit. And now, like, he is seeking revenge to, like, get the guy that put him in the situation that he's in. And, like, it's the most intriguing. And, like, Oswald just acts like a villain in like his quotes, his lines, his actions. They switched around like what each class's path action is almost. So what they did is there's a day and night system in Octopath 2, and each class has has two different path actions. So like in the first game, Scholar had the scrutinized path action, which was like villainous read. It was like learn about an NPC, but there's a chance you could fail, and like that would ruin your reputation.
Right.
So like during the day, that's what the Scholar has, and that's what Oswald has. At night, he has a new path action called Mug.
Oh, we stealing shit.
So what I really like about Octopath 2 is like there were certain situations in Octopath 1 where if you didn't have a certain party member because you needed said path action, even though there were like pseudo two path, like there were really only 4 path actions, but like some characters could do it and some characters couldn't. And then like the thief path action was just tied to the thief, so you had to have Therion a lot of the time. They kind of just did away with that. And like they made so many different ways to do path actions that like you don't feel limited in your party building because you can still only have 4 party members at a time. So in terms of like getting items from NPC, you can have the thief, Thorn, steal. You can have the merchant, Pertitio, buy. Or at night, you can have Oswald mug them, which is fantastic because that's what just makes me realize this dude is just a straight up villain. Because he's sitting here, he's mugging these like townsfolk NPCs of their earthly belongings. And the dude's quotes when he's like in battle, because what it does is like when you mug somebody, it goes into like a battle where you fight the NPC, and if you win, you get all their items. And so his quotes are just like very just. It's probably the voice actor too, but he just comes off as very villainous, and I'm like, bro, you do not seem like a good person. It's great.
Like, I don't trust this guy. He's just.
He has like the coolest attack ever. So they gave the Scholar like a new attack called Elemental Burst. And basically what it is it does 3 to 5 attacks of just a random element between fire, ice, and lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that you boost, the more attacks it has. So like if you boost once, it goes from 3 to 5 to 4 to 6, 5 to 7, 6 to 8, 7 to 9. And so like when you're doing these NPC battles, and like the way it's balanced is it's supposed to hit random enemies. But once there's only one enemy on screen, it just attacks that one enemy like 9 times. And so if they have a lot of elemental weaknesses, like if they have like fire, ice, and lightning like as weaknesses, you're just hitting their weak point every time you do one of this. And so dude is just like doing these fucking finger guns, like he's just doing DBZ blasts. It's animated so fucking well, and like it's my favorite attack of the game. It's so cool, and he's just like going. Pew, pew. He does like finger guns a couple times, and I'm like, bro, you are absolutely a villain.
That's great. He sounds amazing. That's
He's
good energy.
You will love him. You will love him. He is 100% a good character. He is great.
Mm-hmm.
Another character that I really like, he was the last traveler I got because I thought I wouldn't like him.
Right.
Is the cleric, Tenemos. And this guy is given some like freaking Lecter from Trails vibes. Like,
I like
he
that.
is a cleric, but like he's very lackadaisical, and like so his whole deal is he's the church's inquisitor, right? Mm-hmm. And so like they pair him like in his intro chapter against a very like straight man, a holy knight. Okay. And so you can kind of see the juxtaposition of like, hey, this man is like blind to the faith, and like Tenemos, who's like this high-ranking official in the church, is like, well, hey, maybe you shouldn't blindly follow the gods like that. And so like, and he has like a very like joking like manner, and I don't know, he's just really tight. I was not expecting to like him as much as I did.
That's very cool. Like I love it when there's a character like, oh, I'm not gonna like this guy, and then they just like pleasantly surprise you. Like that's a really fun feeling.
And I really appreciate like The Merchant was another one. Like, I didn't think I was going to like Particio, especially since, like, in the English voice acting, they gave him, like, a really heavy country accent.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, I am not digging it. And, like, after I watched this chapter 1, I'm like, all right, I really like this guy. And, like, that's how I felt for, like, all of these travelers. Like, I really like all of these guys. I feel like in the first game, there were a couple that, like, I didn't really care for. Like, I thought Therion was whatever. I thought Alfin was he's a good boy, but he was kind of whatever.
He's a very good boy.
But like they didn't feel that lasting to me, and like all these travelers like really stick out, and I really like their stories so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to like dig in more, especially since like because now I'm at the point where like I start to see more of the upgrades that they did from the first one.
Yes.
I haven't encountered it yet, but like they have new ways of like interacting the 8 travelers together. So like the format is still very similar to the first one, where like you go through everybody's chapter 1, you go through everybody's chapter 2. What I do like is I've noticed looking at these chapter 2s is they're like branching paths, so you don't necessarily have to do like the same chapter 2 in a row. I don't think the first game had that one, and if it did, it wasn't a lot of it. Like they just had set chapter 2s.
Yeah. Pretty sure that was.
But I was doing some reading because I was curious on like because in the first game you could easily miss like the interactivity between the parties. So I want to make sure I didn't miss that this time around. And when I was looking into it, so there are like more like tavern talks and between the party and whatnot when chapters are like actually happening. Like you go into the tavern and like the party members will talk about it. But then I read, which is really cool, is that there are just separate joint chapters.
Someone was telling me about that. I heard that somewhere.
Yeah,
which was something that I was very excited of, right? Because that does address like the really main issue of like Octopath 1, right?
Yeah,
you want more character interactions.
Yeah, so I haven't unlocked that yet because I hear like you really don't start seeing these things until you finished everybody's chapter 1s. You start going through the chapter 2s, and I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense because going through the chapter 1s. It feels very, very similar to the first game, almost to the point where you're like, oh no. Because as much as I love the first game, it definitely has some flaws. One of them being like the 8 travelers feeling like complete strangers and never really interacting with each other. So I'm really excited to see like how that plans out more. The second thing is you encounter secondary jobs a lot sooner. If memory serves, the only secondary jobs that weren't... So when I finally got all 8 jobs, I was thinking like... Because I think in the original game, the way it works is like you have your main job and you can pick any of the other 7 jobs as like a sub job, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you can't do that. At least right now you can't. I think you'll be able to. Mm-hmm. But in the first game, you didn't get like actual like additional jobs outside of the main 8 until like the very end of the game, right?
Right.
Yeah, so this one I just happened to find one just like traveling over the overworld, which I thought was really cool. And it's like the inventor sub job, and it can only be equipped as a sub job. There is one aspect of this you're not gonna like, Rob, because I also don't like it. But I'll get there. And the sub job, basically the way this sub job works is like you can equip it, and the way you unlock skills in the normal jobs is you would do battles, you would get JP, and then like that would unlock more job skills, right? For like your primary job. What they did with this secondary job is it's actually a side quest, and you're tied to this guy called Alvin the Inventor, right? Mm-hmm. And he gives you the job, and like under the pretense of like, hey, show the world my inventions, blah 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 blah. And the way you unlock job skills is like you bring him materials and he invents new things, and then you can use those skills in their job.
Yeah, I don't.
That's not what I was going to say you weren't going to like. I actually like that. I think that's cool.
Go on.
Personally.
Yeah.
And so, because first off, that class is just broken. So the first thing that class does is has this thing called the changeable catapult. And what this does is it just lets you do a launching attack of any weapon type at all enemies in a battle, and it does like a shit ton of damage for free, mind you.
Yeah, yeah.
And like the trade-off is after you use it once, you have to spend a turn rebuilding it.
Oh, that's whatever.
But that's also not what you're not gonna like.
Okay.
No, the adventure class is really cool. Like these are all plus. Okay. What you're not gonna like, and what I also don't like, is that the sub job gives you an outfit and takes precedence over your main job's outfit, and you cannot change it.
Oh. Yeah, I don't like that. Well, what's the outfit? Is it a good outfit?
I mean, dude looks like a dandy. Like top hat and all. Like, right. I'm sure they're cool outfits. It's the first job I got, but like, I think it's silly that I can't just wear the outfit I want.
Important question.
Yes.
Does everybody have a different outfit when you do Inventor?
I don't know. I'll have to find that out.
I think that would be the key of whether or not I like it.
I mean, I can find that out right now. Just 1 second.
Yeah. If everyone has like a unique look and like their own version of being dandy, I think that's kind of cool. I'm okay with that.
Because I mean, I like everybody's default outfits personally. That
Defaults
like,
are cool.
I wish I could. Mm-hmm. Like I really like all the character designs and like how these characters look, and I really like these characters a lot, actually. All right, so let's see. I currently have it equipped on Hikari, so let's put it on Thorn.
Live testing.
It's a similar looking outfit.
I see. Naruhodo.
Well, yes, it's virtually the same outfit, like for the males and the females. And that's
dang. All right. I don't really care for it.
All right. Well, there's your rib seal of disapproval.
The rib seal of disapproval. Very rare stamp that I put on anything.
I mean, it's not the first game that does it. It won't be the last. I wish you just had the option to just wear the outfit that you wanted to wear. Mm-hmm. That's just how I am, I guess. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes class costumes look really dumb.
Having the option is never a bad thing, is where I land, right? Like, I am always for giving all the options when it comes to cosmetics. Never make it a permanent thing. If you have a game that has cosmetics, right, you should always be able to, at the very least, go back to like the default look.
Yeah. But I will say, like, getting the secondary classes early is really cool. I really appreciate that because it gives you more time to like experiment and sort of. Because like reading some of the inventor skills, I'm like, oh, that's really broken.
It sounds.
Can't wait to pair it with this.
Insane from your description.
Yeah. I think if I had one complaint about Octopath 2 is so far it feels very easy. I wish they would find a way to increase the difficulty of that game a bit. I don't know how they would do it in a fun, meaningful way, but I don't know. I want them to. I think one thing is forcing you to have your protagonist always, and then he's always leveling up while you're swapping out other party members. So you just have like this one like really high level unit in your party does factor into that a bit. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's just where I'm at on that. Like I want to see them like find a way to implement difficulty a bit more.
I think that when it comes to turn-based RPGs, like I think really where companies need to focus in on in terms of difficulty has to come from like the idea of making like buffing and debuffing and status effects mean something, right?
I agree.
like I think Atlas basically cracked the code in a lot of that stuff with like the SMT and Persona games and those lineage of games where it's like taking advantage of like turn order, right? Exposing a weakness gives me an additional turn. Well, that also works for the opponent, so that means I have to make sure coverage is tight, right? That's one of the few games where like you have to think about your own weaknesses as far and the enemy weaknesses and everything. And
like
companies don't
maybe
do that
maybe the
enough.
enemy should be able to break me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you should also have like a break gauge in some other things like that. Would definitely make things a bit more challenging, you know? I am with you.
Other than that, I am enjoying my time with the game.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And that's really all I've been playing.
All right. Dope. I see Ryan posted up in here this announcement from Cygames. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus' online beta schedule. Seems like they're pushing that back. It was supposed to be in May, but they're having some issues. That is unfortunate. But also, take all the time they need. You know? What have I been doing? Not like a ton of stuff because I don't know how to manage time. I did start Advanced Wars Reboot Camp 1+2. I am only like an hour in on that game, but I really like how that game looks and how it plays. It's just making me want more tactics games. Like I'm in that headspace now. In Advanced Wars is like a very particular type of puzzle, sort of puzzle tactics game in a way. Like it's its own thing. It's not Fire Emblem, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's hitting at a time that I want something like this. So it's something I'm going to continue with. There's not much more to really say on it right now, but like as far as like the package, the visual upgrades and all the voiceovers and everything, it looks fantastic. So that's going to be something that's in my rotation. Put a little bit more time into Ryza, not a whole lot, but like I do have some more party members in my group. None of the new characters yet, but I have reunited with, I believe, all of the old cast, which is great seeing all of my children again. I think I still have that similar complaint to last time where like I wish they went a little further on the redesigns. They kind of look a little too much like their Ryza 2 selves. But the little details that they did change, I do appreciate, and you can tell that every character that gets reintroduced has grown up a little bit more, and that's always a cool thing. The story is starting to pick up a little bit. It definitely like gets going, or at least the mystery gets going a lot quicker than the previous two games. But I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, I hope I hope I'm wrong. But again, like the first two games, the overall like major story that they want you to care about is something that I find the least interesting about those games. So I hope that the plot here is good, but it's probably whatever, and it's going to take a backseat to me just like following along the individual character stories, which is where I think this particular series shines. But we'll get into that when I get further into it, right? Like I'm still like 3-ish, maybe 4-ish hours into the game. But still having a good time with it. I have been put a little bit more time into Mega Man Battle Network 1. Also a game that's pretty cool. My only complaint about the first Battle Network game is just like not being like the random encounter rate is just like really high, right? In a lot of like the designs in terms of like the dungeons and stuff that you're kind of running through is not particularly well done. So it's really like step battle, and you can't run from battles or anything like that. So it feels like it drags a little longer than it should, right? But the gameplay is still fun, don't get me wrong. But I'm like, dang, this is kind of a slog in some ways. Especially considering like modern RPGs and like the options to like negate battles if you want to in a lot of modern games now and stuff like that, or monsters are on the screen so you can just avoid them. There's just random encounters not being a thing anymore. This game kind of reminds me why I don't like random encounters to begin with. But still a cool game. Anything else I've been doing? Yeah, I feel like I've just been like bouncing around, like sampling little things here or there when I have a little bit of time. Like I jumped back into Rogue Legacy 2 for a little while. Because it's like, since I don't have these large blocks of time to dedicate to things, I'm like, let me just pick something up that I could just do like a quick run of, right?
Yeah.
In the same ways that like you could play through like a Hades, like do like a quick run and then I'm good. Rogue Legacy, for anybody that doesn't know, because I don't really talk about it much, but it is a game that I've been playing for the better part of like maybe a year now. I think it came out last year, middle of last year. It's basically a Metroidvania roguelike game, where at the beginning of your run, you are given the choice of 3 different characters. And they could be like wildly different character classes. Like there is a chef class where like your primary weapon is a frying pan, but it's tight because the frying pan actually reflects projectiles if you time it right. It's really fun. You have like a mage that does magic. You have archer. You have a gunner. There's a pirate class that I haven't unlocked yet. There's a bunch of different classes in the game that just have wildly different abilities in attacks and stuff. So you pick a character. You start off in like a little hub world where like you can spend your gold that you get in your runs for like more permanent upgrades. You can spend them on this giant skill tree to unlock like either the different jobs or health increase, attack increase, stuff like that. You can purchase accessories and armor and better weapons, things like that. And once you get into the game, you basically have an objective of like, I have to find these, I think it's 5 bosses that are in different parts of the world. And once you kill all 5, it opens up this door at the very beginning of the game, and you go in there, and I believe the final boss is in there. So it's basically you just like inching your way through this randomly generated dungeon, trying to get to each boss. And every boss has like their own area, right? And each area gives you like a new like tool, like a permanent tool. So like the one that I just got was like the double jump ability. And then I can use that to progress in like a different area, right? So it does a really good job of kind of like funneling you where you kind of need to go while still randomly generating itself. Like you can't go to area 3 until you clear area 2 because you need the particular upgrade in that area to progress, right? But the individual rooms within each area are randomly generated. So it's very cool. As you kill enemies and as you like break the pots and different things in the background, you get gold, and then that kind of like cycles back into a new run where it gives you 3 new characters and you go through the loop again. It's a fun game. It's a really fun game. Like the control is tight. Controls are tight in all the different abilities and crazy stuff that they have in there. It's just fun to play around with. They have some abilities that are just nonsense. Like you'll roll a character and that you'll have an ability called Clown, and you're like, well, what does Clown do? And then they load your character and it's just you in a clown mask, and it's like, well, what is this for? It's like nothing. Like, you motherfuckers. Like, you guys couldn't give me like gold plus 20% or something, and there's like, no, this is just cosmetic. And I'm like, all right, fine.
That almost sounds like an ability that's in the Holocure thing where like you collect a rainbow and it's like, this does nothing, it just changes colors, and then and then you try to level it up and it's like, seriously, this thing does nothing. Why are you trying to level this up? And then you and then you max it out and it's just like, okay, you're ridiculous, nothing's happening, stop, don't do anything again.
Yeah, that's basically the humor behind it.
Yeah.
There was one that I rolled randomly that was just Kurosawa mode, and it's just like, all right, now everything is black and white in that old filmy time, and I'm like, well, this is cool. It does make things a little harder to see, but like, all right, I appreciate goofy stuff like this from time to time. So it's a blast. I'm currently like 3 bosses down, so I think I got 2 more to go. And it is challenging. It's legitimately challenging. There are some areas that I'm like, damn it, I gotta run through this. I hate the enemies here. Fuck. And you don't really have too many chances to like heal yourself in the runs. Like you can find like health items here or there, but they're pretty few and far between. And then also scattered about is like these rooms where you can pick between like 2 additional like passives for your character, right? And whenever you come across like a new passive that you can select, it's all question marks. Like it doesn't tell you what it is. It tells you the name, and it's just like, do you want to spend the points to get it and see what it does? And I'm like, I guess I'll pick this one. And then it's like a dice roll whether or not it's like a good or a bad thing. So it's a cool game. It's really what I've been spending some of my like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there time. But that's really all I've been doing. I feel like I want to play. I'm really in the mood to start Valkyria Chronicles 4. Like I said, I'm kind of
wait for me, please.
Mentality. So I don't know if I can honor that request, Drew, because like the feeling is rising, and it's only getting worse the more I play Advance Wars. So I'll hold out as long as I can, but there's no guarantee that I won't start that game.
I'm staring at it right now as well, and as much as I love the original Valkyria Chronicles, I might be right there with you.
Yeah, I stare at this game constantly. I reinstall that game like every other week, and I'm like, I'm gonna play VC4, and then I don't. And now it's installed on Steam Deck, and I'm like, this is a good one.
Alicia Melchiot's still one of the best girls.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So really, that's really been my week. Just kind of scattered about a bunch of different things. Hopefully, I'll have some more structure next week, so I can really put a dent into things, because I feel like I'm falling behind in a lot of areas. And I do want to put a couple of games behind me so I can look forward to, the coming releases. But yeah, that's really about it. Anything we want to hit before we close this out?
It was funny, we were talking about releases earlier. I totally forgot about what was it, Star Rail, or the new
Honkai Starfall?
Yeah, Starfall. Yeah, that's coming out this week too.
I'm excited to check that out.
Yeah.
Because it's Hoyo versus version of like a turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's in the same vein of a Genshin, right? Where it's like you're rolling for characters and stuff like that, and it has that Hoyo money behind it.
Yeah.
But instead of being an action game,
it's turn-based.
It's a turn-based.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this might grab me a little more than Genshin does.
Yeah, I was starting to think the same thing too, because I played Honkai and I liked it. I played Genshin a little bit as well, and I liked that and everything. But yeah, looking at Star Rail, I'm like, this for whatever reason, I'm very curious to see how the turn-based aspect works with it.
Yeah, everything around that game, like all of the trailers and stuff, aesthetically, like the tone it's going from, like I vibe with a lot of this.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I'm curious. I haven't heard much out of the closed beta that they've been doing, so I really don't know what the reception.
It's been kind of hush hush on it, like like it's definitely like stayed like you said, just no one really has talked about it.
Yeah. Usually like some info slips out there, or there's like hype around it, but it's been pretty low key. So yeah, that's the 26th, I think.
Yeah,
Right? Like
26th or 27th. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into that.
Yeah, I'll be checking that out for sure.
For sure. Anything else?
Nope.
I don't have anything.
Alrighty. This meeting is adjourned.
That was a podcast.
That was a podcast. You're all free now. Ryan,
Rob.
where can people find you? Sign us off.
Let's see. Twitter, RCB_draws. It's where I post a lot of my artwork and everything, stuff like that, which I did post a new art piece, little fan art of Okayu.
Okayu.
Yeah, so put that up there if you guys want to check that out. I'm probably going to get prints made of that as well.
Hell yeah.
I'm kind of reformatting a couple things with the print stuff and everything, so I'm probably going to get some of those made. And then go from there. I'm also trying to plan a new fan art. I don't know who I'm going to do yet, though, but I've been kind of researching and exploring, like trying to think of who I want to do. But yeah, that's where you can find me there. And I do stream still on Twitch occasionally, which is RCB_TV. That's where you can find me there.
Dope. Christopher.
You can find me on Twitter at JSB Totally Drew. Tweeting about video games. That's pretty much all I do these days.
Hell yeah.
I am looking to get some more into Strive competitively, so we'll see how that goes. But that's about it.
Alrighty. And then you can find me on Twitter at Zenosuke, ZNOSUKE. Y'all already know the deal. Artwork, all that jazz. You can follow us on Jack's Savage Base for anything that we do. There's a lot of stuff coming up over on the JSB anime side of things. The new episode we just recorded today, which will go up on Monday. So it'll be up as you guys hear this. We talked about Your Lie in April, which is
That's a good show.
It's an incredible show, and it's really funny where that discussion goes, because we talk about Your Lie in April, but we get to like the emotions and like how a lot of those characters relate to us. Like it's less about it being a spoiler cast about Your Lie in April, but really like how that show has touched us and where it like where our feelings lie and stuff like that. It's a really fascinating discussion, honestly. That's kind of less about the spoiler side of Your Lie in April and more of like a thoughtful side in how it relates to us.
That show killed me, FYI.
It killed him. We also talked about the first episode of Oshinoko in non-spoiler terms.
That show also killed me.
So it's a really fun episode. Suzume as well. It's a packed episode, so definitely go check that out if you guys are interested in anime. And with that, let's get out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being here. It's always a pleasure, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Later.
Bye.